Hello 108 students, welcome to section 4.3. Mr. McHugh here with you. We're going to take all those math skills we learned from 4.1, solving systems of linear equations by the elimination and substitution techniques, and we're going to do a couple of application problems of these. So we're going to tackle page 1, and we're going to get off on fairly easy first example that we've done before just to kind of break us in here. But let's just take a minute here and go back and math scene investigation. I think I've talked about this before. MSI, you need to put your hat on, your badge on. You need to be looking for the clues. You want to solve the mystery as to what the answer is to this problem. Okay? If you follow this famous 6-step process, it will help you greatly to be organized. Step number 1, read, understand the problem. Do diagrams, do tables if you need. Okay, that's grasping what you're doing, grappling with it, looking for those clues, writing them down, being organized. Number 2, you're going to assign 2 variables to do these problems. And in this first problem, we're going to talk about a soccer field, so we've got length and we've got width as an example. Your next step will be to write 2 equations for 2 unknowns. You have to solve 2 equations with 2 unknowns. That way, that allows you to use the elimination or substitution techniques. Okay, solve for the 2 variables like we did from 4.1. And I tell my students the first 3 steps here is what's. Oops, sorry, I'm supposed to be wiggly. Is the challenging part for everybody, and I understand that. But the more you can develop your logical reasoning, the bigger and more money you're going to pay. The people who can solve problems are the ones who get paid money. Just doing repetitious, boring tasks do not work for you. Okay, you get paid minimum wage, not minimum wage, but you get paid lower wages for those. Okay, so I know it's hard. Okay, you haven't done a lot of practice on it, but this is what math's going to help you with. Okay, now once you get your answers, go back, review, state your answers, and then you double check to make sure it looks good. Okay, so let's get started on this. Let's take something familiar. I think we've done these in 025. You have a soccer field. This is example 1. We're on page 234. And this example matches the book here. I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah. They tell you that a rectangular soccer field may have a width between 50 and 100 yards and a length between 100 and 130. Okay, those are parameters. One particular soccer field has a perimeter of 320 yards, and you find out that the length is 40 more than the width. Okay, those words are written down there, and look at me use L for length and W for width. Okay, you're at a soccer game with your kids, and parents are trying to figure out the length and the width of the field. Somebody knows this fact. The length is 40 more than the width, but they cannot figure it out. Now you turn around, you come in with your MSI hat, and maybe the first thing you do is you draw a simple little diagram. You draw a rectangle. The perimeter is 320 yards. You got length, and you got width. Okay. Next thing, you turn around, and you remember out of your toolbox, your math toolbox, that the perimeter of a rectangle is 2 times the width plus 2 times the height. Does that make sense to you? Here's length, 1 width, second width. Start from here, add them up all the way around, and sure enough it does. Define your variables. L is length, W is width. Okay, we're doing that. Number 3. Notice my steps are corresponding to the 6-step process. Okay, let me just scroll this down a little bit here. Sorry. Okay. Now, number 3, can you write some equations? Well, just equation A was 2 times the width plus 2 times the length equals, do you know how many yards the perimeter is? Yes, given to you. Substitute it in. Okay, what do we know about the length? What's the relationship? The length was 40 more than the width. So 40 plus W is how you're going to represent equation B. Now the beauty of that is you've done problems exactly worded like this. They didn't tell you to use 2 variables, but we're trying to introduce it here now. So this was the relationship. Which one did you know the least amount about? The width. Which one did you know the most about? The length. Excuse me. Yeah, that's dependent. So 40 plus W represents the expression for the length. Okay, guess what you do? Pick the substitution technique. Here's your first equation. You know length is represented by 40 plus W. Substitute it in and rewrite it. 2W plus here's the 2. Instead of putting L, you put the expression 40 plus W equals 320. Okay, there's your step now that you are ready to work with your equation. Now, you're solving for W first. Okay, that's fine. And what's your distributive property here? So you got 2W plus 2 times 40 is 80 plus another 2W equals 320. So 2W plus 2W combine like terms into 4W minus 80 on both sides, and you get 4W equals 240. Divide by 4. Lo and behold, you find out that you go, haha, width equals 60 yards. And I had this flashback. I was watching Psych. If you guys ever watched that show, it's about 2 detectives. There's a lot of comedy in it. And the one guy, he has a real keen observation for things, and he pretends he's psychic, and he says, I predict the width when we measure it is 60 yards. Okay, that's what you've got here going for you. You've got the ability, using math as a tool, to solve and answer questions to problems that people can't do. Now, once you've done this, here's where you call your assistant to come up there, and you let that person figure out the length. Why? Because the hard part was the width. Substitute it in. 60 plus 40 is 100 yards. Okay, now do these two answers meet the parameters that were given to us? The width had between 50 and 100. Check. Length had to be between 100 and 130. Check. You're within the parameters. It makes sense, and you're done. Okay, so that's just a warm-up. Now, let's pick up the pace here a little bit. This example 2 is not exactly the same as it is on page 235. Oops, excuse me. 235. The numbers are off a little bit, so I'll stick with my example here. This was from the previous edition. What I like is you're going down to the Quest Arena. I think that's what it's called now, or used to be called that. I don't know what it's called, or CenturyLink now. It used to be called Quest. We have hockey down there. We've got the Steelheads. We've got basketball. We've got the Stampede. And you turn around and you read online that they're running a deal, 2 deals. They go 2 hockey tickets plus 1 basketball ticket is $126.77. Okay, now you could read the equivalency of in the book here, but just go with mine here. Then they tell you, or you could buy 1 hockey ticket plus 2 basketball tickets equals $128.86. And you go, oh, okay. But then they never tell you how much a hockey ticket or a basketball ticket is, and people can't figure it out. Ta-da! Math scene investigators to the rescue. Can we solve this? And so what we do now is I wrote the equations down here, and then I looked at them, and I got to eliminate a variable. Now I chose to eliminate... what do you think here? I cheated. I put -2. Looks like I'm going to eliminate the h. So if I multiply equation B by -2, let's do that work here. You get -2h, -4b, -257.72, and I add the columns, add the equations up. There's my 0. I get 1 minus 4 is -3b. Do your arithmetic here, use your calculator, make sure you get it right. -130 divide by -3. Lo and behold, you find that a basketball ticket's $43.65. Okay, why do all this? Well, maybe you're used to going to these games individually and you kind of know what the basic prices of these sporting events. Is that a good deal? $43 for a basketball game seems a little high to me, but I haven't been to a game in a while. But maybe it's worth it here. Maybe you've got some family coming up to visit and there's an overlap between hockey and basketball, and you want to potentially take advantage of it. Okay, now that you've got the basketball ticket, can you figure out what the hockey tickets are? And the answer is yes. Pick either equation, A or B. I chose A. Substitute $43 in. It's 2H plus 1B, so that's where you just put the $43 in. Minus it on both sides, divide by 2, and lo and behold, you get the hockey tickets are worth $41.56. Okay, hey, that is going to do these 2 examples here. This is a short section as far as class notes go, so I will see you for page 2 to wrap up section 4.3. Okay, catch you later. Bye.